Hi guys, good to see you all. It's Vinod from GrowWealth. Welcome to the weekly watchlist update and the market update. Today is the 24th of October, Sunday, 24th October 2021. Without further ado, there's more important things happening as I speak. I think the T20 Cricket World Cup is happening as we speak. India and Pakistan are playing, so let's keep this video too short so you and I both can go and watch that. Hope that match goes well. Let's see how our watchlist has performed. Last week the watchlist has performed really well, and the last few weeks it has done so as well because the market has bounced really well, and the growth stocks, which is what we focus on, has done fantastically well. And you would see in a minute that nearly 90% out of 10 stocks that we have, nine of them are handily beating the market, and the 10th one is also positive. Let's have a look at the charts on the market and the stocks that we follow. Okay, there you go. This is the call ratio, and I mentioned this in the last week as well. Above 1, it's bearish. Above, below 0.8 is bullish. It's a market sentiment, and it's a contrarian indicator. So when everyone is bullish, it's likely that the market pulls back and goes for a correction. When everyone is bearish, it's likely the bottom is going to be quite soon. So as you can see with the market bounce, the sentiment has gone too bullish. Lots of calls being bought. The price is below around 8.8. So it's time for a bit of caution. Many of the stocks are rather extended. Don't go too gung-ho. When you're trying to trade, have the right entry point and stop loss and risk management. But there are great setups in play for those who know how to look and then find that setup. Let's see how the market has performed. So this is the S&P 500. There are lots of annotations. I'm going to blind the annotations so we can have a look at the weekly chart. S&P 500 closed at all-time high. It pulled back here from end of August, beginning September onwards, found support at 21-week and nicely bounced up. And let's go to the daily. As you can see, tried to kind of break down, but it found some support, had a pin candle here, and then bounced off, closed at all-time high. It's likely and natural to expect a little bit of kind of consolidation, a pullback to allow the moving averages to catch up, and then have a setup before it moves any upward to continue to resume the uptrend. But it could come down as well. Who knows? Anything can happen. In November, there's this discussion by Federal Reserve in US about the interest rate. So anything like that could put spanners in the work. The earnings season has just started. There are a ton of earnings coming up this week and the following few weeks. And that will decide likely the next direction of the market. But as it stands now, it's all bullish and closing at all-time high. But everything is bullish. That's when the top is set. So be cautious and be selective. Nasdaq, it's not as strong as the S&P 500. It hasn't reached at all-time high as the S&P 500, but then it gave a follow-through day here, and then follow-through day here on the 14th, and the market had followed through from the FTD, that's the IBD term, follow-through day based on the extended moves on higher volume than the previous day. And it's an indication that the bulls are coming back. People are kind of buying the market, and likely to have had their bottom set. And that seems to be the case so far. A bit of profit taking here on Friday. Let's see, similar to S&P 500, whether it consolidates, allow the moving average to catch up, and before it resumes before it lets the heat south and before it resumes the uptrend. That will be quite healthy in the longer run. Dow Jones, pretty similar, closed at all-time high, highly bullish, quite extended from the key moving averages. I would like it to set up a consolidation here. This one is New York Composite Index. It came out of this consolidation zone here for nearly 6 months now, 5-6 months. So it had a nice breakout, extended. Would like to see a bit of consolidation there. IWM, this is the ETF for Russell 2000. It's still going on quite nicely in this kind of consolidation zone, as you can see, these are between these two tram lines. But if you look at the last couple of months, it's increasingly going upwards. So if you draw a trend line here, it's going up. Let's draw a trend line from here onwards. Right? So it shows that the momentum is coming back to this name as well, to the 2000 Russell 2000, the mid-cap index. So what it suggests is there are greater participation in the market rather than just selected growth stocks or leading stocks or going through. But we would want to see a breakout here and the heated extended stocks to cool off a little bit and take the whole market with it over the next few days and weeks. That's what will be quite healthy. Bitcoin had a great run. And it went to all-time high. It broke about the 64,000 level, and it reached what, nearly $67,000, and then it's pulling back. Okay, we follow dual MACD strategy for some of our trades, and it's likely that the daily MACD will close down today, and accordingly, I might place some stop loss to below the low of today to cap some gains and to cap some losses. And if it hits, then I take the profit. If not, it's likely to further run, then at least the risk is managed. Overall, crypto is doing really well. I have quite a lot of different crypto positions and also Coinbase investments as well. That's a stock. And I'm quite bullish on crypto over the next few months. Right, let's now move on to the stocks quite quickly then. On the weekly, it's nicely moving in this uptrend about the key moving averages, going to the daily, pretty similar. It is not extended. It's kind of hugging the T line on the daily, but the volume is going down and the price is going up. So that is slightly a bit concerning. There's not much volume coming back. So it could pull back. I've got a stop loss. I'm in the stock. I put a stop loss below this blue candle's low here around 54 level mark. But so far, it is in the bullish uptrend, 45-degree angle about the T line. Nothing to bother about. Next one is UPSD. So this has been a fantastic winner for me and many of our members. Over 130% move within a short few weeks here. And then I had some profits and another trade here. It's kind of pulling back again with slightly volume picking up, which is slightly a bit concerning because this is a leader. If the leader breaks down, that sends a bit of a ripple effect to the whole market as well. I'm looking for this 21-day EMA to hold, and depending on that, it might, if it did hold and resumes the uptrend, it might give another entry point for those who would like to add. But I've got a position already, so I'm watching this 21-day EMA quite closely. Affirm, as you can see, it broke about the IPO base, had some turbulence there, right there, tried to retest it and found support, and it is still above that level. The sideways action is met with low volume. What that means is there is not much of sellers in this stock when it moves sideways. If you look at the weekly, high, tall skyscraper volumes continuously for the last few weeks when it broke about the IPO top. So it is quite strong. I established a small position here, a trading position, to see how it goes. Very bullish action. Moving on, the next one is APPS. It is digital turbine. It broke about this level, had another consolidation, a cup breakout here, another horizontal consolidation, cup breakout at this point around 81 mark. It swiftly moved close to 90 and then pulled back right to this level. As you can see, the wick here on Friday candle is retesting this break here. It closed below T line on higher volume, so it could come down a little bit or to the 21 EMA or find move sideways to let the heat off, consolidate, and resume its uptrend. If you go to the weekly, it has been a great winner in the year 2020 following the pandemic low. and it's kind of setting a flag pattern here and breaking out of the flag. So in the longer run, it's a high growth stock. Volume is picking up. If you want to be invested in this long run, this is a fantastic growth stock. All right, the computer is a little bit slow. Yeah, the next one is Netflix. Netflix had a kind of brief blip pullback of 2% after the earnings, and Netflix always does that. That's the nature of the stock. Every time, even with fantastic earnings like this time, it always pulls back a little bit. But it is so strong, the market is, that it found support quite quickly the very next day and had a zoomed above the previous high and had a high volume 2 days, closing well above the moving averages and the previous resistance. Very bullish setup. Weekly chart. It had a year-long consolidation and then zoom. It just ballooned from the support level, retested at 50 weeks, sorry, and then it kind of strongly picking up like a rocket. So high in terms of the FANG stock, this is the very bullish FANG stock. Amazon, Google, Facebook are all kind of under some strain, not as strong as the Netflix is. APP, AppLovin, is the stock. So let's go to daily on this one first. So it had a gap up of this consolidation zone on high volume and high volume close. It never retested, and then it broke above the previous IPO advanced phase top, and it continued to consolidate above that level, above the key moving averages. Really strong stock. I was expecting that the stock would probably come down and retest this high volume close level at 84.95, and I was kind of selfishly hoping that if it did, I can buy a little bit more. But it is so strong that it's kind of moved up, finding some resistance around 100 level mark, which is natural, and it's not giving up much. The volumes are high on the down days as well, but not as high as the up days, which is bullish. So I'm expecting that it consolidates to the sideways, maybe allow the 21 T-line 50-day moving averages to catch up a little bit, and then resume its uptrend further. Really bullish, and I have a position on this. Net, Cloudflare, well, that is smoke up the chimney type of action when it kind of bounced above the key moving averages at the beginning of October, and then quickly it moved 60 points. That's about, what, 50% from 120 mark to 180. And the last few days, it's kind of going sideways. Some high volume selling initially, but then the volume dried up. So not many sellers are happening in this stock. It is a bit extended, but it is encouraging to see not much selling happening. I wouldn't be surprised if there are a few more days of selling, allowing the key moving averages to catch up before it resumes its uptrend. Quite bullish, and I have pushed that. GMF, it is kind of continuously going up on high volume. There are some exuberance action in this one. So there are gap ups after gap ups when it's already extended, and they are the signs of exuberant selling. It is still below the all-time high set on the IPO day. So it's still within this cup base, long cup base since IPO. But if you look at where it is in relation to the moving averages, it is quite extended. If the market is really bullish, it could gap up again, touch the previous high, and then pull back due to the turbulence zone. It is very likely to happen, or it could set a climactic top before it kind of crashes down. But it's quite extended. But if you got into the stock, well done to you. You'll be in a nice profit. LOB, this is a bank stock. Let's go to the weekly. Nice few months of consolidation and then going up, and it closed at all-time high last Friday. Week after week, there is 6 consecutive weeks of bullish action on higher volume. So banks are getting into the trend at this point, and this is quite evident, and the leader in that one. JPM, which is JP Morgan, again closed at all-time high. this day here, this week here, the week before last, at a high volume selling, but as you can see, it found support at 21-week and 8-week moving averages, pushed well above that right here, finding support at 50-day moving averages and closed at all-time high. So although for the week, it is not as big a gain as the other stock, but it is just breaking out. So it's likely to continue this, I believe, over the next few weeks to come. Yes, so I think that finishes the 10 stock watch list. These are the additional 8 stocks that I had included. So we'll briefly swift through this. So SI on the weekly is still within that cup base. Maybe it's forming a handle here. So if it forms the handle and breaks above the handle, that will give you a good entry point right there. So that's a gap up on high volume after the earnings. So that is a little bit concerning. So if you want to trade on the daily, it's best to kind of wait for this level to break out of. The next one is Google, close below the 50-day EMA. The earnings are coming up. If you look at the weekly, it's not something to worry about. It's still well above the 21-week EMA, but it closes below the 8-week EMA, something to focus. Compared to Netflix, you can see here, it's not showing much of a relative strength. When the S&P 500 closed at all-time high, Google is well below the 50-day moving average, so it's not one of the relative strength stocks. It's best to be on the relative strength stocks. Amber, very close to all-time high, just a consolidation profit-taking day on Friday. If you look at the weekly, in the last 10 weeks, there's one selling week, so 9 out of last 10 also has been positive. Great stock to hold, great setup, about key moving averages and about this cup base here. So if you're in it, the stop loss could be here. Tightly monitor this. LC Lending Club. There you go. Broke out of this cup. And then there's another pivot level here, which is broke out of and held above that last week, about the key moving averages. And on the daily as well, about T-line. We tested the support at T-line, which is also the high here, and that is holding as a support the previous resistance. So great setup. The next one is Open. Open is one of the SPAC name, which has then been converted into Open. About the AVWAP, and just continuing the uptrend, that's an inverted hammer candle on the weekly, finding some resistance at this point, but it's closed about the T-line, finding some support so far on the T-line. It's a bit extended. It'll be nice if it kind of holds the price, allows the moving averages to catch up, and then have another leg up. That's what I'm expecting. Coupon, I was expecting a bounce. Let's zoom out a little bit. After IPO, it was a failed IPO, crashed. And right here, when this candle happened on decent volume, that's when I introduced to our members and said, I'm expecting a bounce. It is starting to act as I expected. Right there, it did pull back a little bit, but then resumed its trend. And now T-line is kind of also recovering. The price is in between the 50-day and 28-day EMA. So what I'm expecting, hoping, is to see if the price consolidates and breaks above the 50, and this is the IPO AVWAP, which is likely to act as resistance, because a lot of people are negative in the stock when they bought earlier on in this trend since IPO. So they would like to cash out of here. So it's likely to find some resistance at 37 level if it finds some bid until then. Royal Dutch Shell, London stock. So oil has been in favor. Lots of oil companies are doing very well as well. So it had a good 4-5 weeks of consistent up move, and the last week there's been some profit taking. It's been extended on the weekly from the moving averages. It wouldn't be a surprise if it comes and retests that. On the daily though, it's kind of near at the 8-day moving average. I'm expecting this to be the profit zone, intermediate profit level. But in the immediacy, there's earning coming up that's likely to move the price in either direction. But I'm hoping, considering the volume action, it will find some bid between 8 and 21 EMA and find some bullish trend after that. Palo Alto Network, again, similar to other growth stocks, some slight pullback based on the profit taking. This one closed below T line, but well above the 21 EMA. So the next couple of days, next week, will tell whether it's breaking down or finding some support around this level. And on weekly, as you can see, this is one of the well-performing, good relative strength stocks over the last many weeks. That concludes the watch list stocks. I just wanted to add a couple more names for you to look at. The next one is BROS, BROS, Dutch brothers. So it's a recent IPO. They supply drive-through coffees and chilled drinks and things like that. It broke out of that IPO base here, retested a couple of days, and then broke about that strongly on higher volume, 13% on Friday. So I'm really encouraged by this action. And I'm expecting, because of the price action, it's likely to go up from here as well. IPOs tend to go in the IPO advanced phase tend to go up and crash afterwards as well. So if you are playing this one, use the good selling rule, risk management strategies. The IPO trader lifecycle trader book is a good one by Kathy Donnelly. So that's a good one to follow based on the strategies, how to place the stop loss, how to kind of keep it under short leash. The next one is AIR, and there are quite a few AIR, and the one I'm looking at is AAR Corp. So they supply some products to the airline industries. So it's been down in the dumps for many months now. But as you can see here, it seems to be kind of coming out of this inverted head and shoulder high volume breakout on Friday. As you can see that. So what it signifies is buyers are coming in and big money is coming into this stock. Earnings fundamentals is not that great, but someone knows something. Maybe the last earnings was good, but the previous ones aren't. So it's likely that it might get more interest, high volume can continue and have a nice bounce. So these two names, BROS and AIR, are good trading names to have. Crypto is doing well, so Coinbase is doing well as well. So as you can see, nice bid here. Let's go to the weekly. Right, so it closed about the VWAP and then had a nice strong 7% week last week. Closed about this interim pivots there. It's likely to consolidate for a week or two, depending on crypto action, and then I'm expecting it to retest the IPO top in the very near future. All right, hope that gave you some good thoughts on a couple of new stocks and the 18 stocks that we were watching for the last couple of weeks. Look at the market, it's in the uptrend. Some are extended, don't chase it. Look at for the stocks that is just coming out of the base. Enter at the right entry point, have risk management strategies, stop loss at the right level, and let the winners run as well. Play it safe, happy learning, and successful investing. I see you in the next video. Bye-bye.